everybody. My name is Sue and I am from Small Things, and I'm a scrappy quilter living in Southeast Pennsylvania. So welcome back to all my returning subscribers, and welcome to all of my new subscribers as well. Thank you so much for being here. This week is very, very cold. Very cold today. I have my cup of tea and I have a nice plate of cookies that I made, because when the temperature gets as cold as it is, it's really nice to have the oven on and just have the house filled with the smell of fresh baked cookies. So I made some for myself, and Pam will be taking some home with her as well. And I make a double batch whenever I make the chocolate chip cookie, so I also sent some cookie dough home with her too. And now today I have a pot of soup going because it's still very, very cold again today. When I woke up this morning, it was 1 degree. And in Celsius, for my international friends, I looked it up and it said negative 17.22 degrees. So that gives you some idea of the weather that we're having right now. And in a few days, well, by the time you see this, it will be happening. We are forecast to have a big storm come through for most of our country, actually. Everybody, it seems, except for the very west coast, but almost everybody on 2/3 of the country is getting something from this storm with bitter cold temperatures. We are predicted to get, it's just going to be snow for us because we already have the bitter cold in place, but some of the southern states are expected to get much worse in that they're going to get ice. And that is much worse to get ice than it is to get snow. You can't shovel ice. And ice brings down tree branches, big trees, it brings down power lines. It's very common for an ice storm to leave people without power at all for days. Sometimes even weeks, depending how much ice people get. So my sister is in the ice region, and so she's a very prepared person. She's already got a plan, and she's already starting to take action on it. So for me, we're just getting snow, and on the day that we're filming this, they're still not exactly sure. So that's it on the weather front. And now we will just dive into all my quilty news. So this week I want to share with you, I got some happy mail from my sister. She sent me some things that she has no use for, and she knew that I would use them. And so one of the things is this cute little block here, and the center of it, if you can see, is all hand embroidered. So it's so cute. That is definitely going to be used in a quilt. And then another envelope, she just sent me, this fabric is a vintage fabric, and she saw that I just finished a quilt using vintage fabrics, and she knows I love them. So she came across these, just 2 little pieces, but they will go in my box of vintage fabrics. And then she found this, which is, I really love this. And I was talking in my last video about, you know, perfect stitches, or what perfection, you know, in your stitches is. And this is not that. And I absolutely adore it. I love it. This is a cross stitch sampler of the alphabet, and it's very old. I don't know how old it is, but the fabric is old and yellowed, and you can just tell, like, by the aging of the fabric how old it is. And you know, you can see on the back, it's all done by hand. There are a few knots that show through there. And on the front, I don't know if it's that visible on camera, but these stitches here along the top are a lot more dense and closer together than they are in other places. And over here, this letter A is sitting like way above the line of the other letters that are in here. But I adore this, and I can't wait to use this somewhere. And the only thing I have like a slight concern about is I don't have a whole lot of edge here. I don't want to lose anything in the seam allowance here. And actually at the other end, I think I can get it in. I think I can make it work. But there's not a lot of wiggle room there on both of those sides. And there is on this fabric, it almost looks like this was like a table or a dresser scarf or something, and that this was ripped off from it, because there is a hem on here that looks like a machine hem. So I'm not sure of the origin of this, but this found the right home here. And so these will go in my orphan block box to be used in a quilt one day. And then the other thing that I've been meaning to finish up is I've been making these little blocks. They're like a Jacob's ladder little block. These will finish at 2.5 inches. So right now they measure 3 inches. And these came from these papers that came in this pack. This is, let's see, Miss Rosie's Quilt Company Cupcake Mix. And I got these at Houston several years ago. I believe these are still available. This is recipe number 3. And down here they show you the blocks that can be made with these papers. And so I bought this pack, and I did make some of these before. And of course, you know, when you go to a quilt show, they have beautiful examples of everything that you can make with these. And they did have a cute little small wall hanging that was made with this pattern. And I really liked it, so I bought these papers. And I did make that, but it didn't use up this whole pack. And so this has been sitting around, like I said, for years. And there are a lot of papers in here yet. And so that's just one of my goals right now, is to use the rest of these up. So these are already sewn. The papers are already sewn to the fabric. And so I still have to sew these to fabric. And these are the blocks that I have. So there's pretty many of them here. I mean, it's not going to make anything big. And I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I just need to unclutter some of the things in my sewing room too. And so even by just getting this one thing done, it's a step in the right direction. So I think I'm gonna focus on just finishing this up and just making some of these little blocks. Based on what I already have here, I can't tell what my original intention was because they've been sitting around for quite a while. But the ones that I started making now, I'm trying to do in some brighter colors. And some of the ones that I had done before are darker colors. So I think they'll be fine together. There's no, I didn't have a specific color palette in mind. I don't even have a specific project in mind. It's just one of these things that's in my room that's just starting to overwhelm me. And I know a lot of you can relate. Right now I'm feeling a little overwhelmed in certain areas of my sewing room too. And so I just need to start to tackle one thing at a time and move on from there. And one of the other areas that caught my eye and called for my attention this week was another stack of squares that I had started years and years ago. I'm sure I saw something online or in a book that sparked my interest, and I wanted to give it a try. And of course now that idea is gone. I don't know what I wanted to do now. But I had a lot of half square triangles made, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I thought, I looked through some of the patterns I have in my books that just call for half square triangles. These, by the way, are not made as flying geese units. These are, like this one here is actually two different triangles. So I just put them together to make them look like flying geese. So this is the pattern I saw in one of my idea books. So I thought I could, you know, maybe put these together. And my idea with these was to have, I thought maybe I would have enough of these that I could make one more charity quilt before I sent that box of charity quilts to my sister. And this is all of the blocks that I had, which the stack was a pretty decent sized stack, but then once I started making the blocks out of them, I think I only have 20 blocks here. And that's not really enough to do anything with at this point. Even if I just put this with just a plain block, alternating block, it just is not, I think I can do better. So I think I'm going to, for now, put these aside and wait on them and see if they develop into something in the future. I mean, I know I'll use them at some point. I just don't know where, and I don't know how. But again, as far as like uncluttering some things, it is one more thing that I did get done. And this is one step closer to something being made in the future. I just don't know what. I was just stumped after I had these made and I laid them out. I wasn't really happy with any designs or patterns that I came up with. So I think they're just going to have to sit again. So sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes they just have to wait a little bit longer till they develop into something. So, and some of the, I mean, some of them are kind of wild. So I don't know. I think if they all had maybe some cohesiveness about them, maybe if there were, you know, more reds where I could tie red in as a unifying fabric, or blues or blacks or whatever I have in here. If I had some dominant color in here, I think maybe I could tie it all together better. But with what I have right now in front of me, nothing right now is speaking to me. So they're going to have to wait a little bit, which is still more clutter. But like I said, at least it's one step closer to actually using them instead of just having half square triangles sitting in a box. And I am starting to think about my next project already, and I think I'm going to make a red and white quilt. I did not make one last year. I have a collection of quilts that are red and white quilts, and that is based on an exhibit years ago that happened in New York City, and I thought they looked beautiful together. And so I thought the only way I'm ever gonna assemble a collection of red and white quilts is if I make one for myself. So I do have quite a few already in my collection, and I know what pattern I'm going to use. I saw this quilt at a Christmas market that Pam and I went to. Actually, Pam, you didn't go to that one. Sorry, that was my friend Toby and I and Sylvia that went to this Christmas market. And one of my other friends, Linda, had a quilt hanging there. The theme for the Christmas market last year was stars. And so she displayed one of her quilts, and this was the one that she had hanging. And so I took a picture of it because I really liked it. It was just really striking, very simple, but very bold and graphic. And I don't have anything like this in my collection. And so when I looked at it, I thought, I mean, I don't have a pattern for it or anything. She said she took a class with somebody to make this quilt. And I'm not sure who the class was with. And I don't have, oh, okay, I have the name of the pattern. It is, quilt pattern is called Poinsettia Stars. So that's all I know. That was what was written up on the sign next to the quilt. So, so that one I'm going to make. Now I did try to see if I could graph this out myself, because I believe, I mean, I was pretty positive it's just half square triangles, just in 2 different sizes. And so I thought I can do that. And so I can. But my first attempt at graphing it out did not go very well. I kept getting mixed up as to how to rotate the half square triangles. And so drawing it out on paper, I don't want to have to like start over again and start from the center and draw out again. So I thought if I just have the physical triangles in front of me, then I can just twist and turn each one of them to see how they go. And that was easier for me to have something physical on the table in front of me. So luckily for me and my stash, I already had some half square triangles made. I just needed to join them together and lay them out. So I made a test block. And there are 2 different size triangles in this block. So, and you can see that pretty easily here. The outside triangles here are twice the size of the ones in the center here. And I'll show you on the back so you can see by the seams where one triangle begins and another, you know, ends where they join. So the ones in the center part they finish at 2 inches, and there are 16 of those. So that I make my triangles with my papers. Let's see, I don't know if you can see, it says Star Singles. I have a paper from them up on my bulletin board. So Star Singles, I buy packs of them. This last time I got them from Shabby Fabrics. They had them, there are 100 papers in a pack. I have bought them from Missouri Star in the past, but this time when I looked, they didn't have them. So that's how I make my 2-inch finished half square triangles. They do come in other sizes too, if you want to make 1 inch or 3 inch or, you know, whatever size you want basically. So these are going to finish at 2 inches, which means these are going to finish at 4 inches. So these I just made the old-fashioned way. I just made 2 at a time, the old-fashioned way. And since I had them in front of me and I could turn them either way, I got the design, like I got the pattern right away. And then to put the whole thing together, what I did is I assembled this like this. I made this part just 4 times because all 4 corners are exactly the same as this. You just turn it each time until you get this the whole pattern. So this quilt is going to be a breeze to make, knowing now I just need to make this unit here and then 3 larger squares around it. And that's the pattern. That's the whole thing. So, but I want mine to be in red. This is just a test pattern. So guess what? This is going to go in my orphan block box too. That box is getting so full, it's crazy. So one of my goals this year was to try and use fabrics that I have in an overflow box that's just called scraps, which is, I should just call it overflow. When I come home from my fabric sales, I don't have any room on my shelves anymore to put things, so I just started putting them in a box. So these are all the reds that were in the box. And so I'm going to start here with these. And just looking through, I can see this one on top here. I'm not going to use this. This was a piece that I used for binding, and this was the leftover from that. And I think for this pattern, this quilt, this is a bold stripe, and I don't think this is a good choice for this quilt. So that's going to get set aside. And some of them, like this one, I need at least 2 squares that are 6.5 to make the small triangles. And then I need 6 squares that are, I forget off the top of my head, they're going to finish at 4 inches. So I think I'm going to make them cut them at least 5 inches. So I need 6 of those at 5 inches. So I actually don't think I have enough out of this piece either. I'll see if I can get it. This would be a great fabric to use. So some of these I do have enough of. This one is really great. I really love this one. Again, it sort of has a vintage look to it. And I guess maybe it could be called vintage. To me, it looks like it's, I mean, it's well over 20 years old. It looks like it might be from the 90s. I could be wrong though. I'm not sure. But so some of these are small for sure. This, you know, is way too small. This is another one that's a stripe, and it's way too small. I don't have enough of that. So I'm going to go through all of these and see what I need. Again, this is old. These checks. I don't have enough of that. So some of them are just too small. This one, I'm not sure if I have enough or not, but I don't think I'm going to include this. It's too light. It's a very pretty fabric, but again, I don't think it's appropriate for this quilt. So that might have to get put aside. But some of these others, this actually, it looks like polka dots, but I'm not sure. It does have a little pattern on this. I know I have enough of, so that will get included. This one, definitely. This, I might be able to make 2 blocks out of that. This one is such a fun little fabric, but again, I don't think it's appropriate for this quilt. Big dots. So this one probably will not go in. So this is, I know I can't get a whole quilt out of the fabrics that were in that box that I want to use. So I'll go through this first and see what I can use out of these. And then from there, then I can look on my shelves to see what I can use to supplement what I already have. But these blocks now, this will finish at 16 inches. So that's a big block. So this quilt is going to get put together fast. And I think I'm going to do 5 blocks across by 5 down. That will give me 80 inches by 80 inches, and then a simple border around it. And that will be a quilt. So this is going to be the next one that I work on at my sewing machine. And I'm looking for another project because I finished my row quilt. And so I want to share that with you too, and I'll show you the progress I made on it, and I'll share with you how I decided where to put each of the rows. So we'll take a look at that next. So this is my row quilt, and this is the back of it, and I have it basted. So I made a lot of good progress on this. I spent a lot of hours on this week. This was my main focus this week. So this was where most of my work hours went this week. And I just wanted to share this with you because I kind of have a proud moment here. I had to piece this part here to make it long enough for the quilt. And I think I did a pretty good job here with the seam, with matching up the pattern here. I mean, I can really see it because I can see the seam a lot. That's what really catches my eye. But the pattern itself continues pretty good, you know, through here. I think I did a pretty good job. It's not 100% perfect, but it's really close. So I was really happy with how that turned out, especially for such a busy pattern. So this is the back. This is, the sheet is Liz Claiborne sheet. The tag was still on it. And so let's open it up for the big reveal of the row quilt. There we go. I had, it's all done. It's pretty big. It is, let's see, the width is about 85. And then from top to bottom, the length is a little bit longer than that. And I changed a few things around. I put this row at the top here. I did have just the Dresdens at the top, and this was much further down. And I was taking pictures with my phone, and it looked a little unbalanced in that, you know, this row here is mostly white. There's a lot of white on that row and a lot of white on the hexagon row. And if this was the only thing at the top that really had some color to it, and it looked like the bottom was a little lopsided because of the color and also because of the size. This size down at the bottom, I felt like I had too many rows that were all very similar in size. And so I wanted to break that up a little bit. And by putting it at the top, I mean, it's not a perfect balance, but it was never going to be because I'm using what I have. It wasn't, you know, planned out on a computer, you know, or anything. So I'm much happier with this being at the top than it was at the bottom. And I really did use a lot of things out of my orphan box. Based on what my orphan box looks like now, you can't really tell. But I can tell a difference. And I can tell there are certain little spots in my room now that are cleared out, and that I have a lot more open space in some of the areas. So I got this one. This is all basted now, which I wasn't sure, like last week when I shared what I had, I really didn't think I was going to get this far on it. But this, I have really focused on this, and I also really focused a lot on my hand quilting too. So I'm really happy with how this is looking. I have, there are enough yellows in here that tie everything together, and I really do like the pops of the reds and the yellows in here. I think if they weren't in here, I think it would look like it was missing a little something. But I'm really happy with them. So that's how far I got on this. Now this one will be in line to be quilted, but right now I started to quilt the pinwheel quilt. So I just started that one. So now this will have to wait several weeks until I start this one. And lastly, I want to share with you the quilt on the door behind me. This is the other thing that I really spent a lot of time working on this past week. I could see, you know, the finish line on that. So that was actually my top goal, was to get this one done because I was already so close. And so it's done. It is done. It's had its bath, his first bath, and I really, really, really like how this one turned out a lot. I love those old vintage fabrics on it so much. So this one will probably get put on my bed very soon because I do want to enjoy snuggling underneath this one. So we will take it down off the door and we'll get some close-up shots for you. Okay, my vintage quilt is finished. Here she is in all her glory. I had a lot of fun quilting this one. I knew I would because I love looking at the fabrics on this so much. And the quilting that I put on this was, let's see, we'll pick this up here. Around each of the triangles here, I quilted inside each triangle. So inside here and inside here. And so I did that for all of the triangles. And how I did that was, at first I started like in the center of the quilt on one of the squares, and I quilted the outside. And as soon as I did that, I thought, I can do this continuously. I can do all of this without having to stop and get another needle. And so then I thought, well, I may as well just keep going. If I can do it continuously, I can do the whole line of triangles. And so then that's what I did. I did whole entire lines of triangles going that way. So I did all of those rows going one direction. And then I came back and I did all of them going in the other direction. Now the only problem, and it turned out to not be a problem at all, is when I came back to do this row, like when I got to this one had already been quilted because I did this row as all one row. So this one was already done. So it was hard for me to come here and then skip one and then do another 3 and skip one, except it worked out really well because I was able to do all these 3 with just 1 needle's worth of thread, and then I was just out of thread anyway. So even if I had been able to continue, I would have had to get another needle anyway because I needed more thread. So it really worked out. 1 thread got me 3 squares here. So so that's how I did all those. And then I went back to do these, and I don't know if you can see the design I put in here. I was looking for something that had a little bit of a curve to it. And so I looked through all my stencils, and this was the only one that really fit the space really nicely. This was actually a pattern that was made for something much bigger. There were 4 of these on this stencil, so I just used one of the corners. And I put 2 rows of stitching on this outer one to accent that shape more. And then in the basket part here, I just put some lines going straight across like that. And they're about 3/4 of an inch apart. And so that's how most of that was quilted. And then on the outside, the setting triangles, I just did straight rows across here. And then the very outside border, I did just outside lines coming to the outside like this. And then the back of the quilt, I really like the fabric on the back too. I really love, this has the same feel, like a vintage type feel. It's not, this was a sheet actually. And then I put another sheet to fill in on the sides. And then with a nice red binding. So that's it. I really like how this turned out. And this is my first finish of 2026. And that'll wrap things up for me this week. I did want to just put a little note out there for everybody watching. Because we are expecting a snowstorm to come hit our region, that probably won't affect us getting videos out, but we still have a lot of winter to go. And if there's a week when you don't see a video posted, it is probably going to be because a storm has come through. And we want to stay safe because Pam does have to drive from her place to mine, and sometimes things can get a little tricky on the roads around here. So I don't anticipate that at all as far out as the weather that I can see, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Like I said, we have another few months to go, and this was supposed to be a winter where they were expecting us to get more storms than usual. So we'll see how the winter goes. But so anyway, that will wrap things up for me this week. And once again, I want to thank everybody so much for joining me here. And I hope that everybody out there, I hope you're all staying warm and cozy and enjoying your sewing projects too that you're working on. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.